on, you guys? It's your girl Diana back at you with another YouTube video. Today's video may be a little controversial. We may ruffle some feathers, but I am going to be ranking my beloved Eeveelutions from who I think is the worst to who I think is the best out of all of them. Keep in mind, I don't dislike any of the Eeveelutions, but I do have a favorite and I do have a least favorite and everything in between. So if you're interested in seeing what my personal list is, then keep on watching. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because I post all kinds of fun content on here that has to do with anime, Pokemon, gaming, you name it. And of course, if you are an Eeveelution fan, give this video a thumbs up so that we can all have a debate down in the comments and you guys can tell me how wrong I am in my opinion and I can see all of your opinions as well. But let's hop into my list. Working my way up from my least favorite all the way up to my very favorite one. So to start off the list at number 8 would have to be Glacion. So for me personally, I was just never really a fan of Glacion's design. I didn't really care for the little like headpiece that it has on there that looks like bangs, and I just thought that overall Glacion had kind of a forgettable design. Oftentimes I do find myself forgetting about it, but I do like that it's an ice type. I'm actually a fan of ice types. I have a lot of favorite Pokemon that are ice types, but then again, the downside to Glacion being a pure ice type, it does have a lot of weaknesses competitively, since ice type is weak against steel, fighting, fire, and rock types. So there's definitely a lot of things that are super effective against it. So it's not the greatest when it comes to competitive battle. However, competitively, it does have a good attack stat and a good defense stat, so it's still relatively valuable if you did want to use it, but it is a little bit slow, so you would have to work around that. And of course, all of the things that ice types are weak against. Coming in at number 7, I would have to go with Flareon. I feel like Flareon is not very surprising to be so low on this list because I don't think a lot of people really like Flareon in general. It does have kind of a lazy design in my opinion. It literally just looks like a floofy orange Eevee. But that's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion because I think that Flareon is really cute, and if there was a Flareon plushie in front of me, I would absolutely buy it in a heartbeat. So I do think it's a cute Pokemon. It's just a little bit unoriginal for me. And then of course, competitively in battle, it's not that great as well since it is a little bit slow. It does have a weaker defense, and there's just a lot of other fire types to choose from that would be better options than Flareon, but she's still cute, still love her. Coming in at number 6 would have to be Jolteon for me. So Jolteon for me has a really cool design. It definitely stands out amongst all the other Eeveelutions since it does look a little bit tougher and a little bit more intimidating versus its really cute counterpart. So I do like that about it since it does stand out from the rest. And it's also pretty useful competitively. It's fast and it can learn Volt Switch, so you'd be able to get a quick hit in and then of course switch out to a different Pokemon. However, there is obviously a lot better Volt Switch Pokemon available right now, but Jolteon is still a pretty good pick if you're trying to use an Eeveelution. Coming in at number 5 would have to be Vaporeon for me. So I've always thought that Vaporeon was really cute. I'm always so annoyed that they did Vaporeon so dirty in the original vintage card because they made him look like a rat, but Vaporeon is such a cute Pokemon. I love its design. I like that it's almost like a little mermaid with the little fins at the end of its tail, and on top of it being a cute Pokemon, it's actually really good in battle. It's a super bulky water type and it can learn Scald, so you can get a burn off on your opponent. Coming in at number 4 for me would have to be Leafeon. I feel like Leafeon is usually really low on a lot of other people's lists since it's not the best pick competitive wise, but despite everyone else's opinion, I literally had a Leafeon on my competitive team in Sword and Shield and I found it really useful. It does have a really good attack stat and defense stat. It's a little weak on the special defense and the special attack, but if you work around that, you can definitely make a pretty scary Pokemon. I personally had a Sword Dance Leafeon, so that's how I worked around some of its weaknesses, and it's adorable. It's literally a little leaf dog cat thing. Like, come on, you're gonna tell me that's not cute? People would just be hating on Leafeon. My boy Leafeon deserves some justice. Coming in at number 3 is Sylveon for me. So I personally think that Sylveon is the prettiest out of all of the Eeveelutions, but maybe I'm just biased. I know a lot of people don't like Sylveon because it does look like such a feminine Pokemon, but I think it's adorable and I think it's very fitting of its fairy typing. Not to mention fairy typing is super OP right now in the current games, considering it is super effective against fighting, dragon, and dark type, which are all very common types to be used competitively. And what's cool about Sylveon is it does have the hidden ability Pixelate, which makes all normal type moves into fairy type moves and gives them a 20% power boost. So if we were strictly going based off of competitive features, Sylveon would be number 1, but it's not my personal favorite. I do love Sylveon. I do think it's super pretty, but I don't really like its shiny form. So strictly for that reason is why it takes the number 3 spot in my opinion. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's a great Pokemon. I would definitely recommend trying it out that on your team if you haven't. I had one on my competitive team as well, along with the Leafeon. Coming in at number 2 would have to be Best Boy Umbreon. So Umbreon I know is most people's favorite Eeveelution. It's got a really edgy design. Its shiny is absolutely beautiful. It's actually my favorite shiny out of the entire Pokemon franchise. And it is a dark type, which is pretty useful when it comes to competitive, and it's super bulky. I know I never liked going up against an Umbreon because they would literally just never go down because they have so many ways to work around that. They're very good on like a stall type team. If you're trying to get people to rage quit, that's definitely the way to go. But it is weak against Bug, Fairy, and Fighting. So, you know, if you put Sylveon and Umbreon head to head, I think Sylveon might be able to come out ahead. So once again, don't really have anything bad to say about Umbreon. It's a great Pokemon, and obviously it is a fan favorite. And of course, no surprise to anyone, I'm sure, my number 1 Eeveelution would have to be Espeon. I have personally loved Espeon since it came out in Gen 2 when I was just a teeny tiny little tadpole, or should I say, a teeny tiny little Poliwag. I love its design. I think it's really simple, but it's really effective and very striking. And I think when you pair Umbreon and Espeon together, they look great as a duo. They're literally my favorite duo, clearly, since they sit behind me on my bed. Espeon is also a psychic type, which psychic types are great in the game competitively. It's relatively fast. It's got a good special attack stat. However, it is a little bit frail. So it's not the best competitive one, but it is the best Eeveelution in my eyes just because it's so pretty and I love it. And I've loved it since I was a little kid. So this is how I personally would rank the Eeveelutions in order from worst to best. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Were our lists the same? Am I completely wrong? Am I off the mark? Let me know. I'd love to hear your opinions, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found it entertaining, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.